you treat people right, you do good business. It's so weird in how many places you end up fucking. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I know so and so fucking told me about what you guys do. It helps you. Network is probably the most valuable thing an artist has. It's not fucking, plays on fucking Spotify and shit because people fucking cheat and buy that shit. Fucking
badly damaged, just off the side of the road there. We understand there was a shootout, and from police radio transmissions, we heard a report that the suspect was down.
Look on my shoulder and the pigs are right behind me. The naked body riding shotgun with no head.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Bad TV. It's your host, Brian Bad Bell. I'm sitting here with Scum of Lyrical Snuff Music. I say that correct?
Lyrical Snuff Productions.
Lyrical Snuff Productions. Y'all, my bad.
Yep.
Hey, this is Scum. Y'all know what's up. I got him here on Real Talk for an interview. We're gonna jump right into it, see what he got going on, man. Scum, tell us, bro, what's been up, man?
Shit, man, just fucking glad to be back on the road. We've been locked down fucking for a year and shit. We've been making a lot of fucking music, 4 albums. Am I supposed to look at the camera?
No, it don't matter, man.
Alright, got
Yeah, they tuning in regardless, ain't that right?
Alright. No, just doing a lot of fucking music, man. When COVID hit and shit, we was about to kick off another tour with Insane Poetry for Triple MFD Deadly Drug. Tour got canceled, tour got postponed, tour got canceled and shit, and we're at the crossroads as any musician and shit, fucking, especially in the underground, fucking, without a lot of cushion, you're like, okay, I'm a touring artist, there's no tours. Do I fucking take a year off and fucking get a job, or do I fucking work 3 times harder and just do music? And I went the music route and shit, I have no hate for the cats that went the job route, because I mean, sometimes you can burn yourself out and shit on creativity, but put out 4 albums in the fucking quarantine and shit. We got 2 more albums done and sent back right now. Did over 100 songs and shit.
Damn.
Doing shows whenever we can.
You did over 100 songs during
the 12-month period, yep.
You working?
Trying. But you at that point, you have to treat it like a job every day,
Right, you gotta be productive every day.
6 days a week, fucking, you take one day, I got kids and shit, I got a wife, I got kids. You want to take a day for the family.
It's kind of like the market for us, like Wall Street. It's like you got to keep yourself prepared. Like right now, the market is down, but you stay on it because you know it's gonna bounce back. You know what I mean? Like we want to go stay down forever.
You do it, and with the music really fucking, like, they're still listening and shit. People are fucking, there's no concerts and shit, so people, are constantly on Spotify, constantly checking out content. So I feel if you take a year off, it's so hard to bounce back. So if you're in the routine and you're just like making material, plus the sandbagging of the albums is exactly what you was talking about. It's like, okay, if at any time they're like, hey, shit is open, we're offering you a big fucking national tour and shit fucking with so-and-so. I'm like, cool, bet. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop a brand new album for this tour and shit fucking that nobody heard, and have something new to push. But other than that, so we have a schedule of releases. I'm trying to do a trilogy this year called Dying World Chronicles. We just dropped Gray Skies, which is the first chapter 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna drop another installment by the summer. I'm gonna drop another one in like late fall. But on top of that, we got 2 more albums. They're group projects that I was working behind the scenes and shit, and we'll announce them when it would make sense to announce them. But having it ready, I mean, leaving for this trip and shit, you never know what's gonna happen on the road. We've seen over the years of touring, man, we've been in rollovers, we've been shot at, anything can happen, so.
Anything can happen, trust me.
As I was leaving, I'm like, okay, if something happens to me, this middle, these 3 fucking CDs on top and shit, they're completed albums and shit. Something happens to me, you can release them, and let's be real, when the artist dies, sales go up.
Yeah.
So at least, it leaves the family with a little cushion.
Yeah, I've noticed in the last couple of years that there's artists that were good. I didn't actually know about them until
they died.
Until they died.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, he was good. Like Nipsey, I'm like, where he been this whole time? You know what I'm saying? But when he died, and everybody was talking about Nipsey, or even
King Von.
King Von, that was the King Von. Mo 3, I was already a big fan.
Pop
of.
Smoke.
Pop Smoke was like, you never gotta die to get famous. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, okay.
You don't have to, literally, but
just to get famous fast, yes, to get the attention of people, be like, oh shit, I heard this motherfucker got shot 47 times, and next thing you know, you check them out, and you're like, oh, they're actually a good artist and shit.
Yeah.
And fucking, So it's not that people, I mean, are riding the sensational wave of, oh shit, you know what I'm saying, he's on the news because he's dead.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, it just creates that extra attention. And I mean, there's so many dope artists that I've met over the years that just ain't heard. They don't have the money to fucking be heard, or, you know, like, it takes something happening and shit to put the spotlight on you, and if you are a good artist, you'll benefit from the spotlight, and you know, or they might be like, man, you know, this dude got killed and shit, and we checked out his music and that shit was trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes that happens too.
Yeah, it does happen. So as of right now, you know, I'm meeting you here in Austin, Texas. By the way, y'all, we in Austin, Texas, at what's the name of this venue we're at, bro?
Come and Take It Live.
Come and Take It Live. We travel so much on the road and everything. Come and Take It Live in Austin, Texas. That's where we done came across each other at. Tell me about how your vibe is with Texas, being that you're originally not from here, but you come down here, man, and you show us love just by coming down here and doing music.
I love Texas, man. I've been coming here for years and shit. We do different parts of Texas. There's certain, Austin is one of the ones I've been coming to for 15 years and shit. Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, we do all the time. And then other markets fluctuate, so like we'll do, on this run we'll hit, you know, Houston or something. On the next run we'll be like, we'll do San Antonio and fucking Lubbock. On the next run we'll do like Amarillo and fucking, you know what I'm saying, Waco or something like that. There's so many markets in Texas. Texas is almost its own country. Let's just be real, it is.
Texas is, when it comes to the music industry, like I sat back and I studied it, Texas is a dope place to like really get your name out there and market. It's because there's so many cities that are only a couple hours away. You can do like a mini tour and like really get yourself out there, like
in one state.
Like if you just map it out correctly, because you got Dallas, Fort Worth, which is like right down the street from each other, and then you got Austin, San Antonio, Corpus, Houston. They're all like 4 hours away from each other. So as long as you got the time and the effort to get out there, you can like really market hard in Texas.
And there's enough people so you're not overlapping markets and shit.
At all. And then just like right outside of Dallas, Oklahoma City and Shreveport, which is just 4 hours in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
So like Texas is a central spot to like really like get your stuff out there.
No, I absolutely agree and shit. I mean, New Mexico and shit, the Southwest is a big market for LSP, so we do a lot of New Mexico and Arizona and shit, and it's all, you know, all connected, it's all routed, it makes sense and shit. But no, Texas is great. Texas has been showing us love for years. We actually have 2 artists out of Texas, well, 2.5 artists out of Texas. It's the same Poetry is fucking, he goes between Houston and Colorado where we're at. Then we also got Class, who was on the show tonight and shit, who lives out here and rocks here with D-Nice. And then we got JP the Hustler, who also lives out in Texas. So I mean, Texas is an important market for LSP. I feel Southwest and Midwest are like really prime markets and homes away from home for us, to where year after year we're comfortable. We're like, man, I'm looking forward. You know, you get to looking forward to seeing certain people every year. You know, and sometimes, you know, you get there and, you know, something happened and shit, and you notice it. Like, don't think artists don't notice fucking when a fan disappears that's been to every fucking show for the last 10 years, and all of a sudden I'm like, what happened? Touring is great because you build friendships and fucking connections with so many people throughout the country, but it's also kind of sad because every tour you get to find out who died since the last tour.
And that does happen.
But you get to see, you're blessed on the other side because you get to see a whole lot of your people that you normally fucking wouldn't have met if it wasn't for this fucking music shit.
Yeah. Touring is a big part of the music industry.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't just sit still. And people like live performances. You know, it's one thing to see you on a video. That's one thing, but when people can actually pull up and come see you,
it's a whole different experience. I only did 2 streaming concerts last year because I'm a big enemy of streaming concerts and shit. Fucking, I believe it's in killing the art of what we do. I'm a live entertainer, and almost as an entertainer, you're kind of like a vampire and shit. You feed off their fucking energy. So the wilder the crowd, you see motherfuckers jumping off of balconies and moshing and fucking stage diving. I'm gonna do backflips and jump my old ass off a fucking stack of speakers. But if everybody is just sitting down and shit, fucking sipping a beverage, fucking, you know, no hands in the air, you're gonna rap, but you're gonna give them roughly what they're giving you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything is mutual, and when you're rapping into a camera, it doesn't matter if you fucking hang the banners up and set up the lights and all of that. Live stream is still not a real concert. On the other side, there's not a crowd. and likes don't fucking compare to screaming and fucking jumping and bouncing and you know, and if they occasionally spill a drink on you or something, you know.
Yeah.
So no, live entertainment. I mean, I'm not. Live streams are better than no stream, nothing, you know. But when people are like, well, the concerts can just go to the digital format, I'm like, please don't. Like, I will absolutely fucking start playing basements and illegal venues and warehouses and shit, like fucking into Prohibition. You know?
Yeah.
I have no problem with doing that. I mean, we started fucking in the deep underground playing places that really technically weren't venues. It was just a fucking place with sound that was allowed to, not usually allowed, but sometimes allowed, sometimes, you know, it was just something people put together and shit. And then we graduated as we grew and shit into playing nicer venues, you know, with fucking proper stages and fucking green rooms and all of that shit. But I will never afraid to go back to fucking our roots and shit and fucking go back to doing warehouses.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Hey, do what you gotta do, man, for real.
but I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. It's just sad to see so many good live venues that have been around for years and years and years go down on this shit. And, you know, some of them will get new owners, and some of them are just gonna get gutted and turned into some other kind of fucking business and shit. So we're gonna have to rebuild a lot of the roads that we've built over the years.
Well, even though you had to rebuild some, you get familiar with building roads, so you get good with people and you have good relationships with people.
That is true. And sometimes those people might migrate. Okay, they might not manage that venue no more because the venue is gone, but they might get a job because that's what they do for a living at a new venue you haven't heard about, and then they might book you because you have a relationship with them from the previous venue.
Exactly.
So I have noticed that over the years, all the bridges, if you treat people right, you do good business. It's so weird in how many places you end up fucking, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I know so-and-so and so-and-so fucking told me about what you guys do. It helps you. Network is probably the most valuable thing an artist has. It's not fucking, you know, plays on fucking Spotify and shit because A, people fucking cheat and buy that shit, fucking B, you know, you can have a hot single, but attention span of a listener nowadays is way shorter than it was fucking say in the 80s or something. So you have a hot song this weekend, by the next weekend, somebody else has a hot song and they forgot about you.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah, everything comes so fast now, man. And that's why it's important to stay out there to keep yourself relevant as well.
but the network they can't take away, man. You know, like our grandparents' era and shit, they had the little phone book. And in that fucking phone book was plugs and contacts and shit, you know? And while we don't have that, that shit's on our fucking cell phones nowadays or in the head, but you know, it's the same concept. You're like, oh, I got a situation fucking in this particular city, in this state. Who can I call? And you're like, bet, I got this.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
exactly. I want to touch up on one thing so I can be clarify some stuff on Lyrical
Snuff Productions.
You're the co-owner or owner?
I'm a founder and I'm a co-owner.
Co-owner. So what's it like? You know, you're an artist. That's already a load in itself. Creating your own music and doing that. What's it like, you know, being a co-owner of a record label? Like, what's some of the duties? Because you hear so many people like, man, I want to be a record owner. I want to do a label. You know what I mean? But I've never had the chance to just really talk to somebody and be like, man, what's their workload like?
It's a job. It's a job. There's two big aspects. Being an artist and a label owner and shit, you have to learn to fucking separate what's good for the label without being a selfish fuck. And being like, yo, this month we're gonna push me. And next month we're gonna push me again. You know, because then fucking your team is gonna lose hope and shit, and they won't fucking grind because they're not getting their turn to shine and shit. You basically, when you have to be able to step outside your own skin and be like, okay, today I'm the artist. I, as the artist, might be pushing the label, be like, yo, y'all need to fucking push my new album and shit. I need fucking, you know what I'm saying, this kind of merchandise. We need to do fucking at least a mini run for it. But then when you step and like, you know, from 10 to fucking 4, you're the artist. At 4 o'clock, you clock in as a, you know what I'm saying, the management side. And you're like, man, I don't give a fuck if Scum wants a new shirt. We have some backstock that we need to clear out first and shit. You know, this
It's better for the whole brand.
Right, spacing things out. I love our fucking camp and shit. We got some great talented artists from many different states represented on the label, but at the same time, every artist, I mean, artists are narcissistic and shit. Myself too, as an artist, you know, to where they think their project is fucking should be the main focus of everything and shit. So as a label owner, you have to balance out so everybody gets their fair shine. Schedule out releases so they don't fucking overlap with each other. Schedule, you know, video fucking drops that they don't overlap with each other. Fucking try to pair up artists that can coexist on the road and shit if you're building an inter-label tour package. Because not everybody is gonna fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like some people can do a show together, but they can't tour together. Touring together you get on each other's nerves after a while.
Yeah.
6 weeks on the road, I mean, my tour manager, Lynch and shit, my best friend. But do we get at each other's throats on the road sometimes? Yes. The only reason we're able to tour together so many fucking times year after year is because we've learned to let it go. Like, with, you know, we'll be fucking at each other's throats and shit. Within 30 minutes, we're cool. Yeah. Like, yeah, you needed to eat. Yeah. You needed to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, drink a Red Bull.
Yeah.
And we're cool again. So it's, but it's just, it's a lot of, running a label is not as exciting as it seems. I mean, there's a lot of fucking accounting. I never thought I would have to do that much math. When I was fucking up in high school and shit, and you know what I'm saying, like, I was like, I'm gonna be an artist. I don't need none of that shit. I wish I wasn't fucking up in high school. Fucking learning English because it's my second language. I definitely have had to fucking resort to thesauruses, fucking dictionaries, Googles and shit fucking over the years where I'm like, I should have just not fucked it off when I was offered to learn that shit for free. You know, math and fucking, you know what I'm saying, equations and all that shit. I'm like, I ain't gonna need that shit. And trust me, running a label, you need that shit. Yeah. You're figuring out fucking everybody's royalties. You're figuring out splits and the shit. You're doing fucking, like I said, you know, you hit the warehouse, you're like, what do we have? Fucking, okay, you know, you need to clear out back stock, so fucking, we're gonna do a sale on this and shit, but then the new shit we gotta fucking release at the right time. You have to really keep up on what other labels are doing in your lane. Not fucking, it doesn't matter what all the labels are doing, but like we do predominantly dark, aggressive, horrorcore style music and shit, so there's about 4 or 5 other major fucking powerhouses in that particular subgenre of a subgenre. And you gotta see what they're releasing. You don't want to fucking put one of your more up and coming newer artists and shit and let them drop a fucking CD the same day as, you know, ICP or Twisted drops an album or something. Right, yeah. And shit. You just fucked your artist and shit. They're not gonna get the fucking proper shine that album would have gotten if you dropped it a week later. And a lot of the times, obviously, we're all competing labels. Like, we work together, but you can't just call them and be like, hey, so can you send me your release schedule for the next year so I can make sure I get my shit in? You know what I'm saying? So you constantly are like, who is touring? That's another big one, shit. Who's touring in my genre that's gonna be fucking competing with us, you know, because venues, I mean, it's business and shit. If it's slow, and I run a concert hall too, so if it's slow and you need concerts and shit, you're gonna fucking pay top dollar to bring entertainment to your venue. What's scary to me is like when, say they lift all the restrictions throughout the country right now, the artist's been sitting at the fucking cribs, spending all the savings and shit, you know, trying to survive. Everybody is gonna go on tour. Everybody. So it's gonna be a buyer's market and shit. So it's gonna be door deals and, you know what I'm saying? You have the 12th hold. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I won't be the 12th hold. I want to be in the top 3. So it's working around, not saying fucking, you know, sometimes people get an arrogant mentality of like, fuck what they're doing. You know, that they're not on my fucking label. I'm like, well, they're not. But if your fans listen to them as well, you kind of need to know what the fuck they're doing. So, you know,
you got to keep yourself relevant in the market. So you got to know what's going on in the market
and what's going on, where it's going on,
where it's going on, and who's popping, and you know when they drop it. Yeah. All that plays a big influence on the
it's chess, it's not, you know.
And that's part of the difference between being a label owner and just an artist.
And being an artist, you want to put out your music as soon as you're done. You're excited, you made a fucking dope album and shit. You want people to hear it. You don't want to wait. The label's like, it'll be strategically more beneficial for you to release this shit 3 months later. And you're like, no, I'm ready now, you know? And they're like, you'll get paid less on the tour. You'll get less shine because there's fucking oversaturation of releases right now and shit. Fucking wait 3 months, you know? Or be like, hey, we have somebody else's shit already fucking scheduled for when you want. You know, we're not gonna drop 2 fucking releases and shit at the same time. because we accommodate to a fucking label fan base on top of your individual fan bases and shit, and fucking so somebody's gonna have to wait. They submitted their album first. Kind of, you know, making artists feel like you're unbiased, but you know, pretty much letting them understand that, like, you know, if somebody else turned in the project already and their release is scheduled, even if the artist that came second is a bigger artist, you know, based on sales and following, you still have to be fair. You can't just bully a motherfucker that's on the same label as you out of their spot because you want to drop your shit now.
Right.
You know, so it's just making it work. And I mean, and unfortunately, running an independent label, you still can pretty much keep people happy. With majors, a lot of times, I mean, I'm gonna shelve you for fucking 6 years.
Yeah, we've seen it happen.
we have over the years. They might sign you because you're making some noise and you sound like their top seller just to shelve you. Like, they'll give you that little advance and shit, and they're like, cool, now we can keep pushing him because we won't let you put out shit.
And that's crazy. People don't look at it that way, man. Like,
I'm getting the deal. I'm like,
there's been some rappers in the industry, and like I see them get frustrated about why their album ain't dropping, and I'm like, you gotta look at it from different angles. Like, it might be a reason why they might not be letting it drop. It ain't that you're trash.
Right.
That ain't the reason.
They just might be pushing somebody
They
else.
just might want to hold you. They just might want you so they can hold you so you can't drop that good shit right now because they want this other shit to go right now. Mm-hmm. And that's the other side of it that people don't be looking like.
Then you're signed to a, say, 3-album deal.
And you gotta wait to do it.
And until they fucking actually release these 3 albums for you,
can't do nothing.
You can't do shit. So
You can't do nothing.
sometimes, you know, they're like, all right, cool, we already got 2 albums out of you. We're gonna fucking hold you for 5 more years until you re-sign for another album. Your 3rd album is just gonna get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and they might want to try to bully you into 2 more albums.
You know, to that point, you can't drop no albums.
That's why artists be dropping all the mixtapes.
Yeah, and that's where the live shows come in because a lot of times the deal that you got with that record label is based on the record. Because where your live shows is your money.
Live shows is your money. Certain labels, you know, the label takes a cut. I don't believe in taking a cut of our. I feel if an artist is gonna hustle, it's their fucking money and shit, you know. If I have to facilitate it, cool, you know, then I get a cut. But other than that, I mean, like collabs, shows, we don't take any of that shit. We let them do their own because an artist gotta eat. Yeah. And this way, I feel like I take pride in. I would never discuss artists' contract specifics because, you know, that's their business.
Yeah,
but I will just say that everybody on Lyrical Snuff Productions has the same exact split and the same agreement, including myself, as our newest artist and shit. Like, so it's a fair game. If you're like, man, how come so-and-so is eating better? We're selling more albums, doing more shows. You know, fucking, it's not because, hey, the label fucking is giving him fucking, you know what I'm saying, 50% and shit, and they're giving me 10. You know? Like, everybody is on the same terms and everybody knows they're on the same terms, so this way it just, you know, whoever fucking wants to work the most has the same opportunities as fucking anybody else on the team and shit. And fucking, if I started treating myself, would I like to give myself a bigger cut? Being the, you know what I'm saying, co-owner of the label. No, I wouldn't and shit. I actually want fucking my artists to fucking consider me a fucking, you know what I'm saying, like a co-worker and a partner in the trenches rather than fucking like, man, you know, you be taking care of himself.
That's what's up. Look, man, we touched up on a lot of things, man. I'm glad you sat down here and went over everything with me, man. It's like, you really gave me a bunch of insight more on the music game. I mean, hell, you've been around for a minute, man. You got what, like 8 singles? You got 8, not 8 singles, but 8 albums, right?
20 albums.
How many? 20. Where am I getting 8 from? Okay, because before you went solo, you were in a group, right?
I was in a group.
So that 20 consists of the group or both?
Both. As
Okay,
far as
gotcha.
solo, I have 13 solo albums, 7 group albums.
Gotcha, okay.
But I mean, we've been at it for a long time. I mean, 21 years as a label and shit. We have a little bit over 100 releases and check in. Tell you off the top of my head, but we're like 203 releases as a label. So I mean, like the whole fucking wall is covered with shit, you know, content we've dropped over the years. A lot of good history, man. It's underground, it's independent and shit. I'm not gonna fucking have a mansion, I'm not gonna drive a fucking Maybach, but when I die, I'm gonna have some fucking good memories and shit, you know? Like, yeah, I didn't live a boring life and I don't regret any of it.
Yeah. That's a lot of the fun part of it, man. This entertainment is entertaining and it's fun. I like it.
Yeah. All you can take with you is memories, man. I want to be if I make it to be an old man and shit, fucking an older man and shit, and sit in the porch and fucking share road stories and shit, fucking, you know, with my teammates and shit that fucking been there through all of it, I'll be happy. And you know, at that point, I don't give a fuck if it's a porch of an apartment building and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter than, you know, I've always wanted to experience, fucking learn, travel, fucking see things and shit. That's what I get to do. If you can be happy doing what you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're a rapper and shit, if you're a videographer, if you work on cars and shit. If you're passionate, if you wake up and you're about to go to work for 12 hours and you look forward to it, you're fucking lucky.
Yeah, you are. People tell me all the time, man, they wish they could have the fun that I have doing what I do. And it's like, man, I decided to where, like, I want to do what I want to do. And it's like, that's what I put my time and my money into. And I just went forward, bro. Now I'm not gonna say I'm like you. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be rich off of it, but at least I like it.
You like going to work. That's all that matters, man.
I actually like it, and I come across so many people, and I have a good time doing it. So that's like a lot of what really.
I got homies that are a lot more successful financially and wealthier than myself that are miserable. They work to make the money. I work because I love that shit. And I happen to get paid for it, so it's even a bonus.
My best friend do a cooking show next, because y'all know I like to get in that kitchen too. You know what I'm saying? Make out some bacon wrapped chicken and some shrimp and all that good stuff. Do what you like.
I'm hungry right now and shit talking about all that.
I'm in Austin, so you know I'm gonna hit with them when these food vendor trucks and a little bit, just some street tacos or barbecue. It's one or the other. I already got my mind made up.
Austin got some good fucking food, man.
Yes. And good music. And bro, I'm gonna say this, I gotta go. Music, I think Austin, besides food, I think like anybody, bro, that's in the music has got to come to Austin at some point. Austin is like Texas.
When it comes to like South, you know, Austin, Nashville, there's a few music meccas and shit. And Austin is definitely fucking one of those, man. The city, when I first started coming to Austin and shit, I was so used to, you know, bars shutting down fucking by midnight in Denver. The show was running late. I'm like, they're gonna fucking cut the sound and shit. Like, the shit's gonna be over. The party don't start till like 2 in the morning out here. It's the weekend. Yeah, that's true. We came out, we're loading out the venue, and that whole fucking district, there was concerts going on, there was people partying and shit. Like, actually, Austin has great music, great food, great graffiti art, great tattoo artists.
Yeah, all that is something. And like you said, Nashville is one of the spots I want to hit up. There's something to Nashville and Memphis. I'm gonna try to make that a whole weekend. And of course, we just did Atlanta like a couple weeks ago, and that was dope. That was something different too. But that road life, y'all. Hey, I appreciate y'all for tuning in again. This is Scum Lyrical Snuff Productions. Y'all check him out, man. There's other artists on the label also. Man, y'all know what's up, bro. Y'all stay tuned in. I'll be bringing some more to you soon, alright? Peace.
Pigs are on my ass, yo. Drugs and a body, slugs and a shiny. In my truck, I'm drunk as fucking. Pigs are on my ass. Pigs, out to find me. Pigs, right behind me. Pigs, don't remind me. Pigs are on my ass, yo. Drugs and a body, slugs and a shiny. In my truck, I'm drunk as fucking. Pigs are on my ass.